In a world where heroes shine bright enough to hide their sins, one man walks in the shadows collecting their secrets. He doesn't shout. He doesn't boast. He simply takes. And when his power finally awakens, the balance of this world begins to crack. This is the moment everything started.
Yang Fei was running in a convenience store when a frozen air bomb accidentally hit her, then she froze. In a hospital, Yang Zai, Yang Fei's older brother, is touching Yang Fei's face while muttering how Yang Fei used to go against him and how boring it is that she doesn't respond to his bullying anymore. Yang Fei is paralyzed. Yang Zai confessed to Yang Fei that she is not the only one in their family who awakened an ability. His ability is extraction, which can extract others' abilities in the form of ability pearls. An ability pearl formed above Yang Fei. Yang Zai grabbed the pearl and absorbed Yang Fei's grade D ability named Mental Attack, which shoots out a wave of mental attacks to the enemies. Even though it's a weak ability, it belonged to her, so it has a special meaning. Yang Zai questioned Yang Fei's ability rank at first, but realized that it should be expected since Yang Fei wasn't able to block Chen Yang's accidental attack. He pondered if it was really an accident since Yang Fei was far away. Outside the hospital room, Yang Zai's father was shouting at Chen Yang's lawyer, telling him that Chen Yang is killing people. Lawyer Li responded by explaining that Chen Yang saved more than he killed and things are beyond anyone's control, that it was just a coincidence that Yang Fei was in the convenience store at that time. He explained further that none of them wanted that to happen, and heroes are not gods. With their attention fighting against beasts and criminals, there's bound to be a time when they miss. Yang Zai's mother was crying while listening to Lawyer Li's words. His father shouted at Lawyer Li, saying that he won't sign the documents. He doesn't want their money, and he should leave. His father threw the documents. Yang Zai went out and picked up the documents. His father was upset, thinking that Yang Zai wants money more than Yang Fei's life. He explained to his father that they need the money to support Yang Fei's life. His father was out of words and just cried. He told Lawyer Li that he wants to add a new condition. He wants the offender, the hero called the Ice Glacier Adventurer, to apologize to him and his family in person. And the Kunlun Management Company should give an official apology as well. Lawyer Li told Yang Zai that great heroes can manage their schedules by themselves. The Glacier Adventurer himself wants to apologize in person, but he's busy fighting so he can't come by himself, but they are willing to add 100k Planet Blue currency to compensate for it. Yang Zai smirked, then gave Lawyer Li the signed documents. Lawyer Li received the documents and thanked Yang Zai for his understanding. He called his client and told him that it's done and he just added another 100k Planet Blue currency as compensation. His client was pleased that only 100k was added and told Lawyer Li that he'll have his secretary send the money later. He ended the call and muttered to himself that heroes are high and mighty and wished he could awaken an ability. Yang Zai came back to Yang Fei's side and hoped that Yang Fei wouldn't feel bad about him signing the contract since Yang Fei knew their family's situation. He promised Yang Fei that he will uncover the truth behind Yang Fei's accident, and he doesn't believe that it was a mere accident. He continued his talk, saying that some ability holders are not worthy of being called a hero, and promised that he will fix it all. Yang Zai is an intern reporter. The one who has been accidentally brought to a vegetative state by a great hero is his sister Yang Fei. To make his plan more convenient, he moved away from his family. In Minju neighborhood, he entered a room with two women inside, one short-haired and the other one's hair is long. The short-haired woman said hi to him and introduced herself as Ding Lan. She then told him that the woman next to her is named Zio AI, and there's still one more roommate who hasn't returned yet. Zio AI said hi to him. Ding Lan asked for his name. He replied by simply stating his name. Ding Lan told him that it is rare to have a new roommate nowadays and asked him if they should gather and have a meal together. Zio AI said that they can go ahead since she's a junior who enrolled in a university this year, so she'll be at the library tonight. He told them it's not necessary, he just moved there and he's a bit tired too, so he wants to rest. He said those words while walking into his room. In his room, he laid down in his bed and looked at his phone. He noticed that the video of the heroes fighting against the beasts has gotten quite popular, and there are so many videos explaining the abilities. He saw a picture of a dark portal. He was not sure when, but dark portals started to appear all over the world suddenly, and through those portals, beasts arrived on the planet Blue. The planet can only depend on professional ability holders to stop the intrusion of those beasts. Those ability holders are called heroes. To stop abilities being randomly used, the laws of abilities made a regulation that only ability holders that had a professional hero qualification certificate could use their abilities. He watched the video of the battle that caused Yang Fei's accident. After watching the video, he decided to investigate a little more carefully tomorrow since he hasn't found any suspicious places yet. He opened his phone and looked at the time. He was surprised that it was already 2:30. He got up, prepared to wash himself and prepare for his work. He was surprised when he got out of his room. He saw a woman leaning against a wall. He thought to himself if the woman was their last roommate. The woman slowly opened one of her eyes and looked at Young Zai. He noticed the movement and said hello. The woman opened the door of the bathroom and asked Young Zai if he doesn't mind if she uses the bathroom first. Without waiting for Young Zai's answer, the woman puked straight into the toilet bowl. The woman then slept leaning into the toilet bowl. Young Zai touched the woman and asked her if she's alright, but the woman didn't reply. He pondered if he should help the woman but decided that a man should not get too close to a woman. He knocked on Ding Lan's door. Ding Lan woke up, opened the door and asked Young Zai why he's up so late. Young Zai said sorry for the disturbance and told Ding Lan that their other roommate was drunk and fell asleep in the bathroom. He asked Ding Lan to help the drunk roommate since they're both women and explained that it would be very inconvenient if a man like himself would do it. Ding Lan told Young Zai to let her be and it's not the first time that it happened. She explained that she has work tomorrow and it's not early anymore, so she advised Young Zai to sleep soon. Young Zai was forced to do something about the woman. He went back to the toilet and asked the woman if she could get up. The woman remained unresponsive. He sighed and apologized to the woman for what he's about to do. He lovers carried the woman and brought her to her room. He was surprised when he detected the ability of the woman. The woman's ability is a grade F ability named Brain Overwork. It brings the brain into an overworking state in a short period of time, increasing the calculating powers of the brain greatly. Evaluation of the ability is a very good ability, but the holder does not seem to have realized that they have an ability. Young Zai is afraid that the girl only thinks she's smart at times and if she works hard to study, she'll be a top student. He extracted the girl's ability and promised to repay her later. He wondered what effects the ability he extracted would bring to him. Brain Overwork and Mental Attack both come under mental abilities. Can they be combined? Young Zai pondered. A red ability pearl appeared on Young Zai's right hand and a blue ability pearl appeared on his left hand. As Young Zai shouted the word combine, the ability pearls spiraled and floated in the air. The ability pearls combined and turned into light brown, near orange colored ability pearl. The ability combining was complete. Grade D ability was formed named Super Brain. It automatically sends out mental attacks. Grade increase in the ability to calculate and deduce. The ability is a double-edged sword and must be used carefully. Young Zai smiled. He thinks he might find some clues from the video of the incident in which Yang Fei got hurt. The sun rose and Young Zai was still lying in his bed when someone knocked on his door. He got up and opened the door. Young Zai is kind of perplexed seeing the drunk girl from last night now in a dress and is holding his coat. The girl returned the coat, thanked Young Zai for helping her last night and introduced herself as Lin Naixu. He received the coat and thought to himself how innocent the girl looks. He told Lin Naixu that he just gave her a helping hand and introduced himself. He remembered that he extracted her ability last night, even though she never knew she had an ability. He asked Lin Naixu if she's alright now and if she feels uncomfortable anywhere. Lin Naixu said she's fine and there's nothing to worry about since she's used to it. A guy suddenly opened the door who seemed to know Young Zai. He exclaimed. The guy was shocked to see Young Zai talking to a girl and accused Young Zai of dating someone behind his back. Young Zai felt awkward and told the guy not to speak nonsense. He explained that Lin Naixu is a roommate he's staying with. The guy was out of words and thought to himself that he's being extravagant and renting a whole flat is no good. The guy fixed his hair, cleared his throat and introduced himself to Lin Naixu as Fan Peng, Young Zai's friend and co-worker, while gesturing for a handshake. Lin Naixu was kind of shocked but returned the favor by saying hi and told Fan Peng to just call her Naixu. They shook hands. Fan Peng told Naixu that he is an ability holder and his ability allows him to take photos and shoot films with his bare hands. He asked Naixu if she would like to have taken some beautiful photos. Young Zai interrupted Fan Peng and told Naixu that Fan will take him to the publishing company and will be on their way. Fan Peng complained that his conversation with Naixu was not done yet, but Young Zai didn't mind his complaints and kept moving. In Luging Publishing Company, Young Zai used a computer to watch the video related to Yang Fei's accident while Super Brain Deduction is activated. In the video, the hero is fighting against a blue wolf-like beast. Young Zai analyzed the video frame by frame and noticed a weird movement form the hero. When he was about to realize what the hero was doing, Fan Peng elbowed him. Fan Peng asked Young Zai why he's not interested in flirting with chicks, especially with someone exquisite like Lin Naixu. If you're not going to, I will, Fan Peng said. Yang Zai replied saying he and Nixu are just roommates and told Fan Peng not to overthink. Fan Peng told Yang Zai that from roommates to bedmates is quite easy, and he can teach him if he doesn't know how. Their conversation was interrupted when someone screamed and informed everyone that a beast had appeared. Fan Peng and Yang Zai both looked at the window and saw a giant squid-like beast with one eye. The beast is called One-Eyed Killer. The beast's tentacles were smashing everything, targeting people and creating chaos. People on the street were running with all their might while evading the tentacles. A bright lightning-like light came from the sky. An announcement sounded informing the citizens that a beast had appeared, Disaster Grade B. Citizens were instructed to go to the nearest shelter and informed that the heroes are out. Below the One-Eyed Killer, someone landed, and when the smoke dissipated, a hero with sour text on the right part of his breastplate and spicy on the left side of his left breastplate was revealed. The spicy and sour noodles superhero assured the citizens and promised that he won't let anything happen to Lugang City. A boy in the street recognized the hero and told everyone that spicy and sour noodles Superman is a grade B hero. The One-Eyed Killer charged at Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero. Overlooking from their building's window, Fan Peng started recording the fight. He commented that One-Eyed Killers don't just have strong defenses, they also have a psychopathic level of close combat ability as well. With the 18 spiders working together, it's very difficult to deal with it. He thinks that Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero might not win against it. After his comments, Fan Peng turned to his side and realized Yang Zai left already. He smirked, ridiculed normal people, and continued filming the fight. He's excited to earn some cash with his abilities. Grade C hero Flame Butterfly appeared, flying into the scene, and asked the Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero if he needed help. He was grateful for her timely appearance. He instructed her that he will hold down the One-Eyed Killer while she is responsible for attacking the giant beast. Flame Butterfly followed the instruction. In the hero's live stream, two people are talking about the fight, Director G and Mao Huang. Director G is talking about Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero being a close combat hero and how he was very selfish and self-centered when he first appeared. Mao Huang asked him why he would give Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero such a comment. Director G explained that in order to activate his powers, he needs to eat a bowl of spicy and sour noodles, so he normally appears after the other heroes have mostly worn down the monster and steals the kill. Mao Huang praised Director G for giving information that other people don't know. He cleared his throat and told everyone to continue watching the live stream of the battle. Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero attacked the beast's head. The beast fell and was immobilized. Flame Butterfly asked him to move aside while gathering her powers. After he moved to a safe distance, she released flaming butterflies which engulfed the giant beast. In the studio, Mao Huang commented that the beast's life has reached its end. Director G was quick to disagree. Mao Huang asked him how could he say so. Director G explained that beasts are intelligent too. He hasn't seen any sign of nervousness in the One-Eyed Killer yet. In the burning battlefield, the giant beast got up. Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero cursed and realized that the beast has evolved and has a fire-resistant shield. Flame Butterfly asked him if he could still hold the beast longer since it'll take some time before the other heroes arrive. His face darkened. He remembered the company's boss telling him that he has already reached a bottleneck in his professional hero pathway. If he wants to break through to become one of the company's most famous stars, he can't have any more losses, and once he fails, his fame will drop and the company will allot his resources to the younger ones. He thought to himself that he could lose his place as the big boss in the company, and he cannot allow that to happen. Yang Zai was observing near the fight when he saw Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero swallow a pill. He was shocked. He thinks he has seen the pill before. The giant beast counter-attacked and grabbed Flame Butterfly's waist with its tentacles. She exclaimed and asked Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero for help. She is now trapped in the giant beast's tentacles. In the live stream, a viewer is talking about Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero's time limit, which is said to be 15 minutes. Some viewers are calling for other heroes to save Flame Butterfly. Other viewers are just boasting. When the giant beast was about to finish her life, its tentacles suddenly got cut off. In a flash, Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero landed holding Flame Butterfly. In the studio, Mao Huang can't keep himself from shouting great. Mao Huan commented that Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero was able to break through his limit. Not only did he preserve his combat form for more than 15 minutes, but also became stronger than before. He shouted that the hero has not gotten old yet. Director G expressed that he was surprised, and when he was about to continue his talk, Mao Huan interrupted him. He was shouting what's happening in the fight. The One-Eyed Killer attacked Spicy and Sour Noodles superhero, but he easily blocked the attack. He mocked the giant beast and used sour spicy move to counterattack. He literally punched through the giant beast. When he landed, some of the giant beast's tentacles were scattered and it was slowly falling. He coughed blood right after and fell on his knees. Flame Butterfly came running to help Spicy and Sour Noodle's superhero, but when she was near, he glared at her. She was shocked but kept going nonetheless. She touched his shoulders and asked him what's happening. Spicy and Sour Noodle's superhero closed his eyes and tried to control the effects of the pills. When he got a hold of himself, he turned to Flame Butterfly and told her that he just used too much of his strength. Flame Butterfly told Spicy and Sour Noodle's superhero that she got scared there for a second. People started to gather around them, shouting praises. Yang Zai, still near the fight, decided to organize the news when he gets back. He was about to go back when he noticed something in the one-eyed killer's corpse. He saw a small one-eyed killer come out of the corpse, a clone. The clone is alert, looking at its surroundings, observing. The one-eyed killer clone then flew directly to Yang Zai. He immediately decided to use mental attack, since its physical and elemental defense is high. He thinks that mental attack is its weakness. The one-eyed killer clone spoke and swore revenge on Spicy and Sour Noodle's superhero after finding a host and absorbing enough energy. The one-eyed killer clone thinks that Yang Zai is tasty and decided to make him its host. Yang Zai was glad that it came to him on its own accord and decided to extract its ability. He used mental attack and the one-eyed killer clone's eye closed and it fell into the ground. Meanwhile in the crowd, Flame Butterfly turned as she felt someone using an ability. Yang Zai was thankful that it was only a weak clone since his mental attack is only rank D. He extracted the clone's ability, a grade B ability named Fire Resistant Shield. It makes the user immune to fire attacks below grade B, increasing physical defense to a large extent. The skill is evaluated as a very useful tank technique. Yang Zai immediately tried the ability and noticed that it's like an invisible shell that covers the surface of the body. He was holding 2 ability pearls and felt satisfied thinking that the phrase popularly spread in the world of abilities saying that no matter how strong your ability is, it will have a weakness doesn't seem to work on him. Flame Butterfly suddenly arrived and hovered near Yang Zai's location, shouting, asking who's in the area. Yang Zai sneaked away, thinking it's still not time for others to find out about him yet. Flame Butterfly landed and felt weird when she found nothing. She was confused since she definitely felt mental energy and even saw someone in the area. Suddenly, someone behind her asked her if she's looking for him. The person is wearing a mask and a cloak. Flame Butterfly turned and asked the person if he used his ability just now. The masked man then claimed that it was him who used the ability. Inferno Butterfly inquired if he was a hero too and remarked that she didn't think she had seen him before. He confirmed and explained that he was just a passerby who stopped to help them clean up their mess. She wondered if it was the clone of the one-eyed hunter. She assumed that the fact that he was able to kill it so easily must mean that he is pretty powerful. But he is not a hero, which meant he couldn't use his power without permission. He excused himself. She insisted that he should hold it. He used his power illegally, so he must come with her to the Hero Association to be investigated. He questioned if she believed she could stop him. She declared that he has acted against the Supernatural Power Act, and according to the law, she already has the right to use force against him, and he challenged if that was how heroes treat ordinary people. He pinched one of her fiery butterflies. He clenched it in his fist and put it out. He wondered if it was his turn to attack. She apologized and admitted that she made a mistake, so he shouldn't kill her. He guessed that the blue pill that the sour spicy noodle Superman ate was the same thing that Glacier Brave took that day. He will find the truth. A few moments later, the train PSA welcomed the passengers to the Deer Harbor subway. Yang Zai concluded that he would stop collecting powers for the time being. He should consider other ways to use Super Brain. He needs to sort out the clue about the blue pill too. Suddenly, a guy excused himself. Yang Zai went to grab his bag, but he demanded where his bag was and exclaimed that someone stole it. His rooster suit was in the backpack, and it was the guy wearing the pilot jacket. He wondered where he went and pointed out that the subway hadn't arrived at the station yet, so he couldn't have disappeared so quickly. Maybe he could turn invisible, and he might be able to follow his scent. He activated his skill, Super Brain, Sensory Enhancement. He observed that the scent from his back was coming from that guy, but he looked completely different. Maybe his power is not turning invisible but changing his appearance. That supernatural power would be very useful. A few moments later, Yang Zai followed the guy out of the subway station. The guy was humming and muttered that it was another day of good harvest. Suddenly, he questioned why his heart was racing. He glanced behind him. He speculated when Yang Zai figured out his identity and started following him. Yang Zai warned that he shouldn't run, but but he cursed and admitted that he messed with the wrong guy that day. A few moments later, the guy hid in a public washroom. Yang Zai taunted if he was just going to hide in the toilet like a schoolboy who is running from his bully and challenged that he should come out. But the restroom was empty. He guessed if the guy went to the women's washroom. Yang Zai went to the women's bathroom. He declared that the guy should come out because he knew it was him, but he accused him of being a pervert and demanded what he wanted. Yang Zai responded alright and requested for that. The guy screamed and insisted that declared that he would let him off the hook. He used his skill, Mental Strike. The system notified that his supernatural power stripping was completed, and he recalled that he even mentioned on the train that he wouldn't take another power for some time. He got the level F inventory for changing clothes instantly. He activated the skill as soon as he stepped out. His clothes turned into formal wear. As he realized that it was a convenient and practical skill, a police officer greeted him and informed that they received calls about a woman screaming that there was a pervert, and he inquired if he heard anything. He confirmed yes and reported that he saw a cross-dressed pervert sneaking around in there, and the police instructed that they should go. He reflected that some people really didn't deserve their supernatural powers, so he would make things right. 1 week later, Yang Zai drove a taxi to a bar. He got out of it. Fan Peng acknowledged that he was finally there, and he wondered what was so important that he wanted to meet him in person. Fan Peng urged him to guess who he ran into while he was hanging out at the club, and he requested who it was. Fan Peng revealed that it was his girlfriend, Lin Nexu, and she actually worked as an escort. Yang Zai clarified that she was not his girlfriend and inquired why he was telling him that. Fan Peng pressed that he should drop the act and that seeing was believing, so he would know when he saw it with his own eyes. Inside the club, Fan Peng indicated that they should sit over there. Meanwhile, Lin Nexu was dancing in a cage. She danced against a pole. She confidently puffed her chest out, but she was surprised when she saw Yang Zai. She questioned what he was doing there. Fan Peng advised that Yang Zai shouldn't be sad because there were plenty more fish in the sea, and since he was the host, he should just follow his plan and enjoy himself. He summoned the girls to approach them. Zixi, Tianchen, and Pao Pao greeted them, and Fan Peng remarked that he should look at those beauties. He introduced him as his best friend and questioned if he was handsome. Pao Pao complimented that Yang Zai was so handsome, while she suggested that they should have a drink. Meanwhile, at a table nearby, Liu Yuan slammed a bottle on their table. He cursed and complained that if his brother wasn't using the McLaren, he wouldn't have lost to Gao Zhen. Flame reminded that he shouldn't be a sore loser and that blaming the car was useless. Liu Yuan chuckled. He mocked that he could only be his bodyguard instead of following his dad. He sneered if it was because he didn't know how to kiss ass. Flame acknowledged and observed that it must be hard for him, an ordinary person, to be restricted by a level C hero day after day. Liu Yuan grew furious. He slapped Lin Nexu and cursed as he demanded what that crap was. He questioned what kind of crap that was. He interrogated why she was serving him that crap. He poured the liquor over her. On the other hand, Liu Yuan urged that Fan Peng should let go of him, but he warned that he shouldn't do anything stupid because it was Liu Yuan, the second son of Kunlun level a hero mechanical warrior, and his bodyguard was a level C hero, flame boxer, so he couldn't deal with them as he was just an ordinary man. Yang Zai acknowledged and explained that he was just going to the toilet. Meanwhile, Lin Nexu sobbed. Liu Yuan reminded that she knew the rules. If she finished all of those, he would forgive her. A few moments later, one of Liu Yuan's men shoved a bottle of drink into Lin Nexu's mouth while the other girls cheered. Suddenly, Yang Zai kicked the man. Lin Nexu vomited on the floor. Yang Zai stated that he heard the mechanical warrior's son was there. Flame demanded who he was, and Liu Yuan sneered that he must be some guy who wasn't afraid to die. Yang Zai explained that he just wanted to talk business with him. Liu Yuan challenged what business it was. Flame noted that it was late, so they should go back. But Liu Yuan cursed at him and snapped that he should stop barking. He ordered that he should get out of there and barked if he couldn't see someone was trying to talk business with him. Flame grew irritated. Liu Yuan repeated what business he was proposing. Flame commented that he was drunk, so he should sit down and take a break. He would talk with the masked freak. Yang Zai questioned if he wanted to fight and remarked that he didn't like violence, but he was obstructing him from talking with his master. He concluded he would have to teach him a lesson. Flame provoked that he should come on. They should see who would be the teacher. Flame remarked that it was Yang Zai's lucky day. Yang Zai figured that it was a level C fire element attack. Sister Zai mentioned that he would help Lin Nexu sober up, and she expressed her thanks. One of the people in the bar commented that Yang Zai had some balls to mess with the disciple of a level A hero. Another person wondered if they knew why they were fighting. Someone else observed that his mask looked like a chicken and he appeared so mysterious and questioned if he could beat Flame Boxer. Flame charged at Yang Zai. He questioned why he wasn't dodging and suspected there might be a trick. Young Zai challenged if that was all. Flame mocked that he was naive because ever since he became a hero, no alien beast or enemy managed to withstand that move. He intensified his flames and hurled it at Young Zai. One of the girls screamed while a guy exclaimed that he was going to burn him alive. The fierce flame devoured Young Zai, but he reached out his hand. Flame was surprised when his flames dispersed. He assumed that he was unharmed. Young Zai unleashed his skill, Mental Strike. Flame was stunned. Young Zai struck him on the neck and he lost consciousness. Flame fell unconscious on the floor. Liu Yuan exclaimed that Young Zai was insane as he defeated Flame Boxer with one hit. Young Zai stripped Flame of his supernatural power and obtained the level C, Flaming Fist. Liu Yuan was terrified when Young Zai walked towards him. He cursed and complained that those unfaithful dogs ran so fast. He inquired what sort of business he wanted to talk about and how much money he needed because he would transfer it to him immediately. He begged that he shouldn't hurt him and demanded if he knew who his dad was. Young Zai responded that he didn't care if his dad was the mechanical warrior. Liu Yuan warned that if he killed him, his dad would take revenge on him. Young Zai clarified that he was not going to kill him. As he brought up the business proposal, he prompted what it was. Young Zai proposed if he wanted to have a supernatural power. Liu Yuan was surprised. Young Zai loosened his grip on him. Liu Yuan doubted if he considered himself a god and argued that it was not something he could give. Young Zai advised that if he was interested, he should come to the location written on the paper 7 days later. A few moments later, outside the club, Young Zai answered his phone, and Fan Peng demanded why he didn't answer his phone. He joked that he thought he fell into the toilet. Young Zai explained that it was too noisy in the club, so he just came out to get some fresh air, and he inquired what happened. Fan Peng mentioned that he missed a big show, so he would come out and tell him all about it. He asked if he wanted barbecue for supper. He agreed. Young Zai concluded that he managed to carry out the initial stage of the plan, so all he needed to do was wait for Liu Yuan to fall into the trap, as it should be much faster to start the investigation from within the Kunlun Hero Agency, and he would find out the truth soon for Yang Feifei. On the other hand, the heroes assembled at the Kunlun Hero building. They gathered in a meeting room. They were watching the footage of Young Zai and Flame's fight. Mechanical Warrior noted that since they all watched the video, he invited what their thoughts were. Glacier Brave evaluated that the masked man finished Flame Boxer with only one strike, so he was above B level at the very least. Libertine Swordsman disagreed and insisted that he didn't finish Flame Boxer with that strike. He got defeated when the masked man lifted his hand. Magic Dragon presented that it was his injury report the identification department came up with last night, and they should examine it. Everyone was surprised. They speculated if Flame Boxer's power was gone. Mechanical Warrior concluded that it was going to be problematic. Libertine Swordsman inquired who Young Zai was and how he managed to erase other people's supernatural power. Magic Dragon remarked that only level S hero Ferriman was capable of doing that, as far as he knew. Mechanical Warrior questioned if he suspected it was him. Glacier Brave dismissed the idea, stating that he was an old man on his deathbed, making it impossible for him to suddenly appear. Magic Dragon pointed out that it was beyond what their company could handle alone and suggested it was better to report it to the Hero Association. Libertine Swordsman warned that the other companies would surely try to poach Young Zai at all costs since his power was very special, and they probably wouldn't report it. Mechanical Warrior proposed that they should not leak the information for the time being and classify it as a top company secret. All of them were instructed to leave as he needed time to reflect, and everyone complied. Meanwhile, Liu Yuan was at his villa. He wondered if he truly possessed supernatural powers. He recalled that Young Zai described it as a business deal and questioned what he expected from him. He muttered that it was whatever. He questioned why he should care about the consequences when he was about to receive supernatural power in a few days. On the other hand, Fan Peng questioned why they were going to the museum all of a sudden, and Young Zai responded that he wanted to learn more about alien beasts to increase his chances of escape if he encountered one, though he speculated if he could take away the powers of the level S alien beasts there. Fan Peng teased that he might not be there for the alien beasts, but for the girls, and joked that everyone knew beautiful girls loved to visit the museum. Young Zai explained that he came for the plasma Tyrannosaurus beast. It was a level S beast from the earliest invasions, and he stated that he was preparing to write an article about the alien beast invasion. The beast exhibit stirred. It emitted a beam. Fan Peng exclaimed that it was so awesome. On the other hand, Young Zai considered whether he could strip off such a terrific power. Suddenly, the security guard demanded what he was doing. Yang Zai greeted him and explained that he was a journalist aiming to write an article about alien beasts. The guard permitted him to write his report but warned not to touch the exhibit. Yang Zai and Fan Peng exchanged looks. Fan Peng agreed not to touch it and then asked where the beauty beasts were. The guard questioned if he was out of his mind, and Fan Peng replied that he understood the special and unusual thing. Meanwhile, Yang Zai activated his supernatural power stripping skill. He sensed the power but struggled to understand why it was so difficult to strip off. The system confirmed that the stripping was completed. A dark aura whirled around him, producing a buzzing sound. He was astonished upon seeing its level, name, and description. Yang Zai got the level E supernatural power, Plasma Blast. He remarked that if stripping a level S alien beast only gave him a level E power, he speculated whether its power weakened because it died a long time ago. He managed to strip off the power from the alien beast clone, so he pondered whether it was because he took its power soon after it died. He assumed that there wouldn't be anything good he could get in the museum that day, but he believed he shouldn't let that trip go to waste anyway, so he ought to try the other alien beasts there. Time passed, and the sun already set. Yang Zai complained that after spending a whole day in the museum, all he received were 3 low-level supernatural beads. One of them was a level F supernatural power, Clone. Another was a level E supernatural power, Plasma Blast. The third one was a level F supernatural power, Puppet Control. He sighed and muttered that those supernatural powers were unbelievably weak. He questioned whether they could be decomposed since the supernatural beads could be integrated. He mentioned that he would use the level C supernatural bead he got from Flame to test it out. He tried to decompose. There were no changes. He insisted that he should try again. He tried over and over again until the system notified that the supernatural power was decomposed. The beads turned into dark cubes. They were level 1 dark energy. He wondered whether it could be that supernatural powers were all composed of such small cubes of dark energy and reflected that it was possible to decompose supernatural power into energy if that was the case. Supernatural power could be decomposed into dark energy, which was the smallest unit. He questioned whether he could use the dark energy to strengthen his other supernatural powers then. He integrated it into Puppet Control, and the system notified that it was upgraded. It leveled up to level E. He asked himself whether it was upgraded. He held the dark energy cubes in his hands. He speculated whether he would be able to create women with level S supernatural powers in that case. Suddenly, Lin Nexu insisted that they should go away and not touch her. Yang Zai suspected that he came to look for her. Lin Nexu's father remarked that all she knew was how to cry. They explained that they didn't mean to lie to her. Yan Zai stepped out of his room and noticed her sobbing. Her father questioned if she would have sent them money willingly if they hadn't done that. Her mother reasoned that her brother needed money to buy a house and a car to get a wife, so he needed millions, and she wondered where they would get that kind of money. She inquired if that was the reason they lied to her by saying that her dad was terminally ill and urgently needed money. She mentioned how depressed she felt when she heard that. She shared that in order to make that amount of money, she worked long hours and even took on 4 jobs. Her father insisted that he never requested her to pay for the full amount, as he had his ways of getting the rest of the money, and their Lin family's lineage must go on anyway. She challenged if his way of getting the rest of the money was to bring her home and sell her to some stranger. Her mother explained that the man might not be highly educated, but he was good-natured and honest, so he would treat her right. She challenged if that was right and where they thought she got 50,000 Blue Star coins each week from. She confessed that she got it by being an escort and questioned if they knew that. Her parents appeared stunned. Her father condemned that she was shameless and a disgrace to their Lin family. He threatened to beat her to death because she was a disgraceful witch, and she challenged that he should go ahead because her clients hit harder than him anyway. Yang Zai interjected that he should calm down because she was his daughter after all. Her father looked surprised. He demanded who he thought he was and declared that he was a little punk who was in no position to stop him from teaching his own daughter. Yang Zai realized that Lin Nexu's father didn't feel any remorse, but her mother looked regretful, so he decided to psychologically hint at her to see if she could help her. He activated the level C puppet control, and the mother declared that it was enough. She admitted that his daughter became an escort because of him and questioned if his heart was made of stone. She confessed that it was all her fault and reaffirmed that Lin Nexu would always be her baby girl. The father sighed and conceded that it was fine because her brother should make that money on his own. Yang Zai reflected that luckily they realized their fault in time and wondered who in that world doesn't care about their loved ones. The next morning, at the train station, Lin Nexu reminded her mom and dad to stay safe and stated that she would see them during Chinese New Year. Her mother agreed and reminded to take care of herself and not do stupid things anymore. Lin Naexu thanked Yang Zai for accompanying her to see them off and suggested that they should go back. He expressed that he hoped her brother would learn to be reasonable because that would be better than any amount of money she sends back. She requested that he come closer because she had something to tell him. He inquired what it was. She kissed him on the cheek. She expressed her gratitude for him helping her twice. Late at night, Yang Zai assumed that the security at the Alien Beast Corpse Treatment Center was tight because a large number of alien beast corpses were stored there, and he believed he would have an easier time obtaining different powers there. He figured that he would have to try other ways to sneak in. He quickly slid underneath the truck. He grabbed the steel pole underneath it. He caught his breath, but he was puzzled when he saw Kyan Duoduo. He intended to confront her, but she shushed him. He cursed in his mind as he questioned if she was also trying to sneak into the treatment center. He considered that she was a lady too. He greeted her and remarked that it was a coincidence. She responded that it was unfortunate, and since they were both going to do that, they should follow the rules in the business and obtain things with their own ability. She introduced herself as Kyan Duoduo from the Fanhai Guild, and when she inquired about him, he replied that he was Rooster. They were arriving at the loading area, and she advised him to wait because she couldn't get off with him like that. He suggested that she should hold on to him. The two of them managed to jump out of the truck together. He cleared his throat and inquired how much longer she wanted to hold him. She retorted if he believed she would hold on to him if she had a choice. A few moments later, they entered the Alien Beast Corpse treatment room. She questioned why he looked so impressed and if he was not a newbie, to which he admitted that he was and expressed that he was looking forward to her guidance. She acknowledged that since he was so sincere, she would allow him to follow behind her. Her boss wanted some white hair from the werewolf's chest. Those things needed to be cut off carefully. She summoned a bag. She explained that the storage bag was her supernatural power, and she inquired if it was impressive, but he considered that it was a waste using that power like that. She urged that they should hurry to the next treatment room. He quickly used his stripping skill and obtained the level D supernatural power, metal transformation. They were suddenly startled when the alarm went off, and she wondered if they knew that they were there. A researcher screamed and warned that it was bad. An alien beast came back to life. Yang Zai and Kyan Duoduo were alarmed. The researcher pleaded for help. Kyan Duoduo inquired what that was and if Yang Zai could give her a hand because her legs were a bit weak. She was surprised when a tentacle touched her from behind. She screamed, and he called her. He triggered his skill, Flame. She pleaded that he save her, and he realized that the tentacle was so fast. There were so many metal shelves there, but he recalled the metal skill. He used the skill Metal Transformation. He manifested sharp blades and it chased after Kyan Duoduo. The tentacle was cut off, and she was released. He questioned if she was alright. She groaned that the tentacles have barbs all over them, so it hurts so much. She wondered what kind of alien beast that was and how it could come back to life, and he responded that they will know when they see it. They saw what the alien beast looked like, and the researchers it caught were screaming for help, for somebody to save them. Kyan Duoduo couldn't believe it. More tentacles wiggled out of the alien beast's skull. It wanted to attack them. Yang Zai quickly used his skill, Metal Transformation. He materialized a shield with the metals and blocked its attack, but it relentlessly attacked them. Kyan Duoduo exclaimed that his shield was becoming smaller and he should do something about it. It was impossible for them to win, so she believed she was going to die, and she was going to be eaten. Yang Zai concluded that it wouldn't do, and he recalled seeing some jerrycans nearby. He assured her that she shouldn't be scared because he had a plan and he would protect her, and she queried what the plan was. He directed the metal blades to his side. He used it to scoop the jerrycans. He threw those at the alien beast. He controlled his flame to burst. He urged that everybody should run, but the alien beast's tentacle suddenly emerged from the explosion. It went after Kyan Duoduo. It wanted to reach her, but Duan Shuoliu used his skill to cut it off. Yang Zai and Kyan Duoduo were surprised. Duan Shuoliu demanded if they were the thieves who resurrected the alien beast and instructed it to attack the facility.
Kyan Duoduo confronted Duan Shuoliu, tossing out a sharp question about who he even was and why he dared to spit nonsense when he clearly knew nothing. He fired back that she was an insolent brat, bragging that when he roamed the world, she was still nursing from her mother's breast. She snapped that he didn't deserve her respect. Yang Shi caught on to who Duan Shuiliu was, recalling that he once soloed an A-rank mutated berserk ape years ago. So he respectfully addressed him as Duan Senior. Duan Shuiliu scoffed that at least Yang Shi knew manners, promising to handle the monster first before settling things with them later. Yang Shi figured he must be an A-rank hero and couldn't help wondering why he was showing up at a corpse handling center. Duan Shuiliu lunged straight at the monster. He unleashed his Northern Sword First style, Greedy Wolf Slash. Yang Shi muttered that the Northern Sword skill truly lived up to its name, each move brutal and devastating enough that even S-rank heroes could barely slip past it. And Shan Duoduo blurted that it looked insanely cool. The monster went wild from the onslaught. It flung a storm of tentacles toward Duan Shuiliu. He countered with his Northern Sword's second style, Dimensity Slash. All the monster's tentacles flew off cleanly in one fierce stroke. Duan Shuiliu steadied his stance for another blow. He launched his Whirlwind Wave Slash. The monster's head burst apart in a violent explosion. Chunks of flesh splattered down as Duan Shuiliu landed neatly on his feet. He declared that since the monster was down, it was their turn next, and Yang Shi marveled that it was such a lightning-fast double-eye slash. He protested that they weren't the ones who revived that monster. Duan Shuiliu barked that they should quit lying and called them suspicious, demanding to know why he should trust them. Qian Duoduo leaned toward Yang Shi and asked if he was sure he could take down that deranged old man, and he shot back by asking if she'd jump in if he couldn't. She coolly said no, explaining she only planned to lend him something useful. It was a set of armor forged from B-rank monster material, strong enough to give him an edge, and she wished him good luck with a grin. He couldn't help thinking she reminded him a lot of his sister. Out of nowhere, Duan Shuiliu roared that he should eat that. Yang Shi cursed under his breath, then froze when he realized he had managed to block the strike. He figured the armor took the hit, proving how effective it really was. But Duan Shuiliu kept hammering at him with slash after slash while he backed off to gain space. Yang Shi triggered his super brain. Duan Shuiliu's movements started to look slower. Yang Shi noted that once super brain was active, his senses sharpened, and the opponent's attack pace dragged a little, though still not enough for a solid win. Duan Shuiliu barked that there was an opening. Yang Shi swore inwardly, realizing he couldn't dodge fast enough. He snapped into using his control. Duan Shuiliu froze midair, his body stiff as stone. He pressed Yang Shi to see if he could momentarily pin down his movements. Yang Shi shifted sideways fast, his instinct kicking in as he dodged the incoming strike. He warned that if he failed to restrict it, he would end up in serious danger. Duan Shuiliu scoffed that it was nothing but petty tricks, and thieves like him could only reach that low ceiling. Yang Shi unleashed his gold element change, energy flashing in his grasp. He intercepted Duan Shuiliu's sword, the clash ringing sharply in the air. He reminded himself that every form held its own strength, and his control could occasionally restrain an opponent just enough to avoid a hit. Then, one of the men hollered that Yang Shi could actually match Duan Shuiliu head-on, and asked if he might be Area 6's A-rank hero, Godspear. Yang Shi frowned slightly, wondering who Godspear even was. Duan Shuiliu remarked that judging from his movements, he might not be a thief after all. He told the others to leave the palace first, since he had a few words for Yang Shi alone. One of them hesitated, asking if everyone really had to go. Duan Shuiliu narrowed his eyes and questioned why they had grown so bold as to ignore the central director's command. The man quickly agreed to withdraw, while Qian Duoduo mentioned that she would wait for Yang Shi outside. Yang Shi faced Duan Shuiliu and pressed him on why he wanted to talk in private. And Duan Shuiliu admitted that he knew he wasn't Godspear. His swordsmanship wasn't at that level, but his gold attribute power felt oddly similar. He pointed out that Yang Shi wielded many skills, clearly not someone ordinary, and guessed he hadn't come just to snatch a monster's fur. He leaned in and asked if he had come in search of the world's truth. Yang Shi blinked, thrown off by the phrasing, figuring he should draw out more information first. He confirmed evenly that yes, he came for the truth. Duan Shuiliu gave a short laugh, saying young people sure burned with passion, so it wouldn't hurt to share. He revealed that the Monster Handling Center's real mission was to open the monster world's gateway, known as White Cavity. Yang Shi stiffened, the words catching him off guard. Duan Shuiliu continued, explaining that 15 years ago, Wrong City's White Cavity had been successfully opened. The Hero Association had sent an elite squad into the monster world on a crucial mission. He had been one of them, but countless S-rank heroes had died in that campaign, sacrificing themselves to guard him and 2 others so they could return to Azure World alive. He explained that every monster center was built on a fragile patch of Azure World space. All they had to do was keep burning monster remains, and eventually they could reopen White Cavity, the portal bridging to the monster realm. Yang Shi asked what exactly the so-called revived monster was. Duan Shuiliu clarified that it wasn't truly revived, they just lacked details and called it that. But in truth, It was the influence of white cavity passing by, mutating the monsters nearby. He said the humans of Azure World were penned in by monsters and treated like livestock, and only through gathering powerful heroes could they hope to fight back. He told Yang Shi he could leave now and reminded him that no matter which organization or guild he belonged to, he was still human. An official and his secretary leaned against the huge windows, gazing at the city sprawled beneath the room's glow. She muttered that the old bastard Duan Shuiliu really loved stirring up chaos, wondering aloud if he still didn't realize he couldn't go spilling that matter to outsiders. He replied that even if Duan Shuiliu kept his mouth shut, others in the organization would uncover it sooner or later, and with their current strength, they couldn't possibly seize control of that world. She mentioned that she was the one who sent the headquarters video. A mysterious lady appeared on screen, her voice smooth as she announced that more than 25 seats were present, meaning they already met the S-rank matters voting condition. The official and the secretary joined the meeting. The lady continued, explaining that the Lugang City Hero Association's branch would report the situation, and once that was done, the meeting would commence. They would decide whether to reveal the white cavity to other A-rank and higher ability organizations. Meanwhile, Yang Shi pressed Yang Feifei if she had any idea. He remarked that he had learned a brutal truth the night before. He recalled the grim moment when he stepped out of the corpse handling center. Someone demanded to know what had happened inside, while another pushed to find out if he had defeated Duan Shuiliu and why he was the only one who returned. Qian Duoduo then hurriedly asked if he was all right. Yang Xi resolved that he couldn't let outsiders discover his power. He claimed he was fine, but told her to look him in the eyes, and she blinked, asking why. He triggered his control. She froze, caught in his influence. He decided she should forget about his flame and gold element abilities. She should remember only that he bought that armor from her, owing her $10,000. He snapped his fingers. She blinked rapidly and came back to herself. She mentioned it was good he was okay, but her place had door restrictions, so she'd head off and catch him next time. Back in the present, Yang Shi remarked that Qian Duoduo was just like Yang Feifei, obsessed with money and always playing cute. Before he pulled off his revenge, he figured he might find a way to let her wake up. Evening settled in as he returned to his apartment. He examined a crumpled metal plate resting in his hand. He then triggered his gold element change. He murmured that he'd obtained the sucking star ring. He had also possessed the ability medicine. He couldn't risk anyone discovering his abilities, so he had to use both items to deceive Lu Yuan. He forged another mask. He slipped it over his face and switched into a new outfit. He decided the costume would go by the name Snake. His power differed from Yuji's, whose C-rank plasma blast was far less flexible, though he could still wield flame whenever necessary. He belonged to the same organization as Yuji, and countless versions of him formed that enigmatic group known as Judge, created with the purpose of judging those unworthy of being heroes. As for the organization's hiring fee, that would be handled by Lu Yuan's master. Yang Shi wandered into an abandoned building that smelled of rust and old rain. He spotted Lu Yuan sprawled on the floor, dead asleep like he had no care in the world. He muttered that the guy should wake up already. Lu Yuan snapped at him, tossing out a threat about being tired of life for disturbing his nap, but then fumbled an apology as soon as he realized who it was. Yang Shi remarked that he was glad to see him show up, figuring it meant the guy actually trusted him a bit. Lu Yuan grinned and said that if he could hand over an ability, they could talk business, money, girls, power, whatever made it worth his while. But Yang Shi brushed that off, saying he didn't need any of those things. He mentioned that getting an ability was easy anyway, told him to just look into his eyes. Then he unleashed his control. He ordered Lu Yuan to spill whatever he knew about the blue drug, but Lu Yuan just stared, vacant-eyed, not a word leaving his mouth. Yang Shi frowned, wondering what the hell went wrong, thinking maybe the skill had failed. He called his name again and commanded him to slap himself once, but still, nothing happened. He considered that maybe it only worked after some mental conditioning, or maybe Liu Yuan really had an ability, one strong enough, C rank or higher, to block control. So he fired off a mental blast. He recalled how Liu Yuan hadn't fought back at the bar, figured that didn't fit with someone who had powers, but he'd better confirm. Then the system flashed a notice, ability stolen complete. He grinned, realizing the guy really did have one. It turned out to be an A-rank ability called Reborn, letting him rewind to one day before death, but only once. He muttered that the guy was hiding a serious ability, an A-rank trump card, and decided he'd better not treat him badly after taking it. He figured he'd implant the ability he stole earlier from the monster corpse handling Sinner into Liu Yuan's body. He told him to wake up, and when Liu Yuan mumbled about receiving an ability, he questioned why he was still dozing off. Yang Shi replied that it was fine to rest if he felt tired, then casually asked if he could see the ring. Liu Yuan confirmed he could. Yang Shi explained that it was the star-sucking ring made by his organization, a device that could steal abilities. Liu Yuan commented that it made sense, then asked what came next. Yang Shi said his organization had a secret process to create ability genes, allowing ordinary people to gain powers, the so-called ability medicine. Liu Yuan marveled at it, doubting if it was real, but Yang Shi told him to drink it and see for himself. Liu Yuan hesitated, wondering if it might be poison, but reasoned that if Yang Shi wanted him dead, he'd already be gone, so he tossed away his fear and went for it. He drank the medicine in one go. The vial shattered when it hit the floor. Liu Yuan's eyes reddened as agony tore through him. Yang Shi watched calmly, saying he'd soon experience the incredible rush of gaining an ability. Liu Yuan groaned that his whole body felt like it was burning up. Yang Shi figured it had nothing to do with the medicine he gave, and that he was just stirring his inner ability orb to life. Out of nowhere, Liu Yuan's ears twisted and reshaped. His hands followed, morphing fast. He let out a howl, demanding if this was really him. Yang Shi remarked it was the bloodline type, body ability, Wolfman transformation, and nudged him to say how it felt. Liu Yuan wondered if that was his own ability, then mentioned his brother turning into a demon dragon, pressing if he was stronger or weaker. Yang Shi replied that his brother was A rank, while he was only E rank, and Liu Yuan muttered about the 3-rank gap between A and E. Yang Shi reminded him not to act rashly since he just joined the organization, and that normally they'd only hand him F-rank ability medicine. He noted that Liu Yuan had turned into a wolfman, but teased that he somehow looked more like a husky. He went on that his reputation in the organization had bumped it up to E rank instead. Liu Yuan remarked that from what he said, the organization must have abilities of all ranks, wondering aloud if that meant he could surpass his dad someday. Then he cheekily called Yang Shi his daddy and begged for an A-rank medicine. But Yang Shi scolded him not to call people his dad. Liu Yuan grinned and said he should at least let him call him Godfather since no one had ever treated him so well. But Yang Shi told him it was pointless because the organization had rules. Earn achievements, stack credits, then make the trade. Liu Yuan asked what kind of organization they were running, and Yang Shi told him to listen carefully. Their group was called Judge. A powerful lord founded it, ruling over 12 managers tied to the Chinese zodiac, and he himself was Yu Ji, one of the 12. Liu Yuan blinked and asked how strong the boss must be if someone like him was only a manager. Yang Shi warned him not to guess recklessly. The boss stayed in the shadows, shrouded in mystery. Liu Yuan pushed on, asking the fastest way to gain credit, and Yang Shi told him the obvious. Complete the missions they handed out, and he had one ready. He needed to use his Kunlun Company Young Master identity to dig up intel on the blue pill. Liu Yuan asked what that was, and Yang Shi explained it looked like a pill that enhanced abilities, and he'd come to Lu Gang to trace whoever was behind it. Liu Yuan mused that if it boosted powers, it sounded like a good thing. Yang Shi cut him off, warning him not to get any weird ideas, since one hero who used it had ended up hurting innocent people by accident. Liu Yuan pressed for who did that. Yang Shi answered it was their company's A-rank hero, Bing Chuan. Liu Yuan guessed it was Li Kanyang and scoffed that the guy acted tough but was just trash secretly popping pills. Yang Shi told him once he found useful info, they'd meet again, and then he'd hand him the D-rank ability medicine, and Liu Yuan agreed without hesitation. Yang Shi then added he'd forgotten something. The ability only lasted a week, so the clock was ticking, and he had to finish the mission in that time. Liu Yuan's eyes went wide in shock. Yang Shi wandered through the city streets until a notice caught his eye. It was a wanted poster for his alter ego, Yu Ji, issued by Qian Duoduo. He nearly choked on his drink in shock, spraying it across the table and ticking off the man in the booth beside him. The guy barked at him, and Yang Shi hurried out an apology. After a beat, he muttered that he never thought Qian Duoduo would actually pull something like that. Then he spotted her up ahead slipping into an alley. He wondered what she was doing there. Quietly, he trailed after them. At the alley's end, Qian Duoduo turned and demanded what the others were trying to pull. One of the men warned her to behave and hand their master's sword back. She shot back that she had no clue what they meant. She didn't even have spare change, let alone a sword. But the girl sneered, saying she'd scam them with a fake orb to get Demon Blade Muramasa, and one of the men growled that she'd better return it unless she wanted to die. Yang Shi recalled it was the legendary S-rank monster-forged weapon and wondered if Qian Duoduo actually possessed it. Meanwhile, Qian Duoduo scoffed, thinking that worthless sword wasn't worth the fuss. So she struck it with her skill right away. Then she snapped that they should quit framing her since she'd never heard of the thing, meaning they must have mistaken her for someone else. Yang Shi smirked to himself, figuring she was terrible at lying and just didn't want to give up the demon sword. The girl growled that if that's how she wanted it, they'd take her down by force. One of the men unleashed his military style, Santoryu. The other followed with shadow style, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Yang Shi recognized both as successor-type abilities and noted that each user ranked above C. Qian Duoduo lifted her chin, declaring she wasn't that weak. She wielded a B-rank weapon, the Scythe Weasel Fan. A gust erupted, hurling the men through the air. She declared she'd never surrender anything she'd claimed. The girl's eyes hardened, and her aura shifted. She activated her A-rank ability Snow Queen. Qian Duoduo blinked and complained about the sudden snowfall. Yang Shi analyzed the fight from the sidelines. Then he switched into his hero outfit. Meanwhile, the girl pursued Qian Duoduo, firing shards of ice at her back. She spun up a blizzard tornado that howled through the alley. Qian Duoduo's face drained in alarm. Yang Shi tensed, worry flickering in his chest. A reporter mentioned there was an ability war breaking out between ability users on Zhangqin Street, so he called for the nearby heroes to hurry over and back them up. Meanwhile, Qian Duoduo looked stunned. She got blasted away by the girl's raging blizzard. She groaned that it hurt like hell. The girl pressed if she'd really return what belonged to her. Qian Duoduo shrugged and went, sure, then teased by asking which knife she'd lost, gold or silver. That set the girl off. Out of nowhere, ice locked Qian Duoduo's feet solid. The girl warned she'd better behave and hand it over now, or both legs would end up frozen and shattered. Qian Duoduo snapped that she wasn't dumb enough to give back something valuable. She got it with her own ability, and if the girl lost it, too bad, she'd toss it before giving it up. She added that Yuji could have it since she'd just hand him that busted sword for free. Yang Shi remarked that as expected, she'd noticed him earlier, then threw in a quick thanks. But he added that the sword was junk anyway, and nobody would want it even if she gave it away. Qian Duoduo agreed, saying she'd thought the same, but somehow that worthless blade turned out to be a treasure, and now everyone was after her for it. The girl muttered she had allies, so they should take him down together. Yang Shi froze for a second as shadow clones instantly surrounded him. One clone jeered that he should just eat it. Yang Shi realized the sword might be draining his mental energy. He muttered whether he'd lost control of his own body. He cut through every attacking clone in a single sweep. The real enemy was among them, and his body got sliced clean in half. Yang Shi blinked, stunned. Another guy snarled that he should just die already. Yang Shi darted back fast to avoid the strike. Then, a small dark flame flared out from the sword. It surged until the whole blade burned in black fire. The girl gasped that it was the demon blade Muramasa. In an instant, Yang Shi vanished. The other guy panicked and cried for his lord to save him. The system chimed, notifying Yang Shi that a C-rank ability, Santoryu, had been stolen. He had cursed, gritting out that the sword was draining his mind dry and he couldn't hang on much longer. Then, the girl lunged in from behind, her fury snapping loose as she struck. Yang Shi cursed under his breath, guessing he had used the reborn ability that day. Then, out of nowhere, a fierce slashing aura tore through the area. It swept right over the bystanders' heads. In an instant, it shattered the girl's ice crystals into shards. Yang Shi pressed if that was the barrier of breath. Qian Duoduo caught on and recognized Libertine Swordsman. Magic Dragon muttered that those guys from the Sakura group were getting cocky in Area 6, daring to stir up trouble again. The girl snapped that they were just reclaiming what was theirs and warned him not to treat them like weaklings. But Qian Duoduo shot back that her master traded her that sword, so it was hers now, not the girl's anymore. The girl admitted that there were 2 more A-rank ability users and decided she didn't stand a chance, so the smart move was to escape. Qian Duoduo tensed when several ice crystals aimed right at her. The girl growled that even though they killed her people, she only wanted her item back and could spare the girl if she left Lugang City right away. But Magic Dragon sneered, asking who said they'd let her leave at all. He demanded if she thought Area 1 was a place anyone could stroll in and out of. The girl froze, speechless. Magic Dragon barked that he'd leave her to him while he went to test Yuji's skills, and Libertine Swordsman reminded him the company planned to recruit him, so not to overdo it. Magic Dragon smirked that he wouldn't, just giving his little brother a lesson. Yang Shi raised the sword and caught his fist head-on, but the force still sent him staggering backward. Qian Duoduo's worry spiked, and Magic Dragon taunted if that was really all he had. Then the girl snapped that if that was the case, he should just die. She unleashed her absolute 0 degree. Libertine Swordsman slashed out his sword aura slash to block the freezing storm. She froze in shock, watching the blade's energy race toward her. Paralyzed, she couldn't dodge. Her body shattered apart like glass. Libertine Swordsman cursed, claiming he hadn't actually hit her. And when Qian Duoduo protested, she pressed if the girl didn't just break to pieces. Libertine Swordsman muttered it was only an illusion. She'd run off, but she couldn't be far. He demanded to know where her brother, Yu Ji, was. Meanwhile, Yang Shi grumbled that the damn sword drained his whole body, leaving him weak and useless, wondering how he'd pull through. He realized it was a monster-made weapon and pondered if he could steal ability from it too. The system chimed in, notifying him that an ability had been stolen. He gained 2,500 Dark Power Cubes. The Dark Power Cubes scattered across the floor. He remarked that even if he'd never drawn any ability orb from one before, he didn't expect to end up with this many. Though it made sense since that sword came from an S-rank monster. He wondered aloud which ability he should boost so he'd have enough strength to face the demon dragon. He brought out the D-rank orb, Metallic Transformation. He muttered that he might as well start by upgrading that one. It shimmered and shifted into an A-rank ability, Metal Control. He absorbed the orb into his body. Meanwhile, the girl noticed the sudden change in the energy around him. He mentioned that he could feel it too. Every concrete structure carried traces of metal. The cars, planes, even the buildings. For once, he finally had the power to challenge real experts. Then out of nowhere, the girl lunged at him from behind. Without turning, he unleashed his energy. Her ice shattered into mist under his skill. She staggered back, wide-eyed. She spat a curse and hurled another strike. But his power kept dissolving everything she threw. She muttered that it was impossible. He shifted his energy, molding it into another form. She cursed again, shouting that he should let her go, and he warned her not to move, claiming he was gentle with girls. She demanded what he planned to do. He reached out and drew out her ability orb. A system alert chimed that her power had been stolen. It was the A-rank ability, Snow Queen, one that could summon a battle Snow Queen or merge it with the user. He remarked that he'd assumed it was an elemental ability and didn't expect a summon type. Every guy would kill for that one. He caught her limp body before she hit the ground. Just then, Wanderer Swordsman and Demon Dragon appeared at the end of the street. Demon Dragon barked a question, asking if he'd just run into some random girl, while Wanderer Swordsman squinted, sensing his aura had shifted. He replied that she wasn't just some random girl, she was the Snow Queen, but he'd already taken care of it. Demon Dragon scoffed, telling him to quit joking and demanding if he really thought trash like him could beat the Snow Queen. He snapped that if they didn't believe him, they could test it, and asked which of them wanted to go first. Then he offered another option. Both of them could come at him together. The reporter turned to the crowd, tossing out if they caught that the guy actually wanted a 1 versus 2, and pointed out the opponents were 2 A-rank heroes. Someone from the audience laughed that his Demon Dragon could crush that guy with one hand, so he better drop the act. Another murmured that he didn't look like he was joking. Another shouted that they were already a fan of the Black Cape Man, and another tossed out that he was downright domineering. The reporter grinned and mentioned they were about to find out whether that 1 versus 2 spectacle would really happen. Demon Dragon scoffed that even if the guy hyped it up in front of a crowd, he wouldn't join forces with Wanderer Swordsman against him, since that would wreck an A-rank hero's cool. Yang Shi muttered that it was a shame because otherwise that 1 versus 2 fight would have been wild. Demon Dragon noted that to beat someone, you had to get them, and Wanderer Swordsman admitted they still had a bit of unspoken understanding. Demon Dragon eyed his hand and remarked that the ring looked odd. The secret behind the vanishing ability might tie to it, so he'd better stay sharp. Wanderer Swordsman waved it off, telling him not to worry, and that he'd soon see whether the guy really had the chops he bragged about when beating the Snow Queen. If he pulled it off, Demon Dragon would definitely jump in. Yang Shi motioned for him to come closer. Wanderer Swordsman lunged right in, blade flashing. Yang Shi flared his energy. He threw it up as a barrier to block the strike. Wanderer Swordsman jolted when he suddenly appeared behind him. Even so, he twisted fast enough to catch the next attack with his sword. Yang Shi's energy had shaped into a blade, close enough to slice him if he slipped. Wanderer Swordsman barked if he was trying to control his sword and snapped that he should quit dreaming. Yang Shi let out a pained groan. He got shoved back, sliding across the ground. He realized that sword came from monster material, not metal, and worse, he didn't have any metal element to work with, meaning he couldn't take him head on, and he racked his brain for a move. He figured he had to push one ability to A rank, because if he couldn't beat Wanderer Swordsman, there was no chance against Demon Dragon waiting to pounce. He crushed the Snow Queen's ability orb. The control orb drank it in, rising to A rank. Now able to rattle an A-rank target with illusions, brainwash anyone B rank or lower for 10 years of loyalty, and even slip into a doll's body for 2 hours. He muttered that he wasn't about to use it for anything sleazy. Wanderer Swordsman barked what he was up to, and if he still wanted a fight or not. Yang Shi told him not to rush it. He cast the control illusion. Wanderer Swordsman staggered under its effect. His sister's voice echoed, asking if he was really going to swing his sword at her. Wanderer Swordsman froze in shock. His sister reached out, trembling, trying to calm him down, but he swung his sword in panic, the motion wild and sharp. The blade struck Yang Shi's weapon, slicing it clean. Wanderer Swordsman demanded if he was a mental spirit type, declaring himself a double-type ability user. Yang Shi retorted that it was too late for that discovery, admitting even he hadn't expected such a weakness, while Wanderer Swordsman pressed what he even understood about it. He confessed it was his big sister who had died, and he couldn't bring himself to strike her down. A bystander shouted for Wanderer Swordsman to get up. Another muttered that he had lost and now only the Demon Dragon might stand a chance. Someone else blurted that the defeat was so quick he almost wanted to become a fan. The reporter remarked that Wanderer Swordsman still stood there dazed, wondering if the man in the black cape had launched a mental spirit attack. He went on that Wanderer Swordsman had stayed guarded against mental tricks, but never realized the opponent hid being a mental spirit user. And judging from his trembling hands, the fight's outcome was clear. Qian Duoduo praised Yang Shi for handling it neatly, admitting she'd thought Wanderer Swordsman had taken him down and demanded who would repay the money he owed her if he ended up dead. Yang Shi grumbled, wondering who was mouthing off. Meanwhile, Wanderer Swordsman conceded that he'd done well forcing out his trump card and told him to let him handle the rest. He warned him not to meet his gaze. Once caught by that skill, the people dearest to him would appear before his eyes. Yang Shi turned to Demon Dragon, asking if he had finally decided to make a move. Demon Dragon locked his stare on him, unblinking. He commented that the battle carried weight, proposing they make a wager. Yang Shi chuckled that it sounded fun and asked what kind of bet he had in mind. Demon Dragon declared that if he lost, Yang Shi must reveal the ring's secret. Yang Shi agreed, taunting that if he was that confident, he could come and take it, privately relieved that Demon Dragon wasn't a fool, and was flexing to draw attention to the star-sucking ring. Before he could react, Demon Dragon appeared right in front of him, knees shooting up toward his face. Yang Shi registered his blistering speed, far faster than Wanderer Swordsman's. He hurriedly shaped metal into a barrier to block the strike. But Demon Dragon blurred past, instantly reappearing behind him. A hit slammed into Yang Shi's back, then a kick followed, hurling him through the air. The reporter exclaimed at the blur, saying the black cape man who controlled metal couldn't even follow Demon Dragon's pace. Yang Shi crashed hard into the ground. Demon Dragon sneered if he was a double ability user and dismissed it, saying it didn't matter. He was still nothing compared to him. Yang Shi hunched over, looking like pain was grinding through his body. He kept coughing while the mask on his face began to splinter. He figured that guy moved insanely fast, hit like a truck, had dragon scales tough as armor, sky-high defense, and even spat fire breath. None of it added up. Demon Dragon remarked that he wasn't half bad, saying his bones were pretty solid. Yang Shi triggered his control. Demon Dragon flinched. Lu Yuan suddenly shouted to him, telling him he was hurt and to come save him. Demon Dragon cursed, spitting that pretending to be his cute little brother made him sick. Dark energy surged from his scales. He unleashed his Dark Flame Earth Dragon transformation. Yang Shi quipped that the illusion spell didn't land right, but clearly pissed him off. The reporter recounted how Demon Dragon showed his second-rank transformation that day, shockingly forced into it by the masked man. In the thick of the fight, Demon Dragon barked that he should just die. Yang Shi then forged sharp metals and drove them up from the ground. Demon Dragon sneered, asking if he really thought those pointy things could stop him. Yang Shi tossed back that he'd turned into a drill. Interesting, so if he was that capable, he should come chase him. He rose off the ground on a floating metal plate. Demon Dragon growled, asking if he actually believed he could get away. Yang Shi coolly said it was time to move. Metal pipes shot up and coiled tight around Demon Dragon, but he jeered, asking if Yang Shi forgot about his dark flame. His fire blazed hotter, liquefying the metal binding him. The reporter noted that Demon Dragon's dark flame melted those metals easily, meaning they wouldn't hold long. Duo commented that Yang Shi wasn't just strong, he was sharp, the type who never wasted a move. Back at the fight, Demon Dragon taunted if his flames couldn't melt through that. Yang Shi judged that even though B-rank flame resistant wasn't too impressive, it still wouldn't burn out immediately. So now was the moment. He hoisted a car into the air. Then more metallic wreckage followed. Demon Dragon gaped at the massive block of metal hanging above him. Yang Shi drove his metal control full throttle. A Titan's fist should have already crashed down. He slammed the enormous metal mass toward Demon Dragon. The onlookers shouted to run for it. Demon Dragon gasped if this was where he'd die. Then a thunderous explosion ripped through the narrow alley.